promising jobs report released this morning. It was very good, actually. The economy added 288,000 jobs last month. It makes this the 5th straight month that gains have been above the 200,000 mark. The unemployment rate that actually went down 6.3 to 6.1%. What does this mean as far as the strength of the labor market, though? Here with some insight is Brendan King. He's the CEO of King & Bishop. And what are the trends you're seeing in a report like today's, which are really numbers that we haven't seen since 1999?
Really, no pun intended, but coming on with a bang, 4th of July, 288,000. But some of the more compelling numbers that are in there really are that every sector really had some pretty big gains. One of the things that really got my attention was small business, which is 0 to 49 employees, had about 114,000 of those jobs. The next level up 49 to about 250 was 117,000, and then your larger companies, it was only 49,000. That's important, Mark, because small business drives the economy, and when they feel confident in that hiring, that's good news for everybody.
Any particular industries that are leading the way here as far as this jobs improvement goes?
Sure. In our part of the country, in this part of the state, it is absolutely, you can imagine, the technology companies are driving. But what feeds that is professional and business services. There's a lot of healthcare pickup as well. And we're also seeing some advanced manufacturing gains. So old school manufacturing companies using advanced manufacturing techniques are finding ways to do things differently, but they still require advanced talent to get that done.
You know, last month we were talking about how the economy shrank 2.9%, but then a jobs report comes out like today that's gangbusters. How do you read that?
Yeah, it's a tricky one, but economists and analysts look at a bunch of things when they look at the overall economy. They look at inflation, they look at the GDP, they look at the financial markets, and they look at the employment market. What happened in the first part of this year was the winter weather really does play a role here. It has a major impact. It upsets business plans. You can look at housing starts, they're off. So that's going to cause it to shrink. And you may recall that the weather here, it hung on until early April. Yeah. And then you look at when the hiring gains really started to pick up, and that really tells the story of the second quarter.
You know, strong numbers the past few months, revisions as well. What constitutes a recovery that we could say is, you know, certainly lockstep now and moving forward is going to be consistent for a while?
Sure. And again, analysts look at a bunch of things. The employment data is something I know very, very well. If we go to last month, Mark, 217,000 jobs were added in May. That number alone brought us to over 138.4 million, which is the number of jobs we had before the 08 recession kicked in. So you could look at it that way and say that the recovery's there.
And also temporary jobs, still in demand, and oftentimes lead to the permanent jobs. For those people still looking for work, that could be the route to success.
You know, and that's a segment my own company knows very well, often overlooked because people sometimes in this survey will say, well, I'm in a temporary job. This isn't the job of my dreams, but they are working. But what's happening there, if you look at the superset again of professional and business services, in that is the temporary staffing, and it has steadily grown since 2013 every month. And the reason being is companies, they have work that does need to be done. It's a fact. Sometimes the long-term hiring process, it takes too long. We want a point solution that can come in and get that done right now. For instance, my own company, Contract Recruiting. Somebody comes in right now to get that work done, and that very often can turn into a permanent full-time job.
Very good. Some things to look at if you're still looking for a job out there. And there are plenty of people doing that, but some positive numbers out there today for sure. Brendan King is the CEO of King & Bishop. Always good to talk with you. Happy 4th.
Thank you. Thank you.